C'è la luna, mezzo mare, mamma mia, mi maradare. Figli mia, cutterare, mamma mia, pensaccia tu. Se te non ne pisciaolo, io te va, io te viene sempre a calare del mandarene. Se ci picchia fantasia, baccalata, figlia mia.
Welcome to Kiddo and Janko Wednesdays at Lunch.
Burger Edition.
This week, Matthew and I went to Birreria Italico.
Oh, sounds so fancy.
On 1425 Rue Levesque. They have another location at 3131 Côte Vertu. Matthew, had you ever even heard of Birreria Italico before today?
Not once.
No?
And it's on my street.
Yeah, you live further down Rue Levesque, basically.
Yep.
And you actually got lost along the way, even though you just had to stroll down your street, go to the other side of the street, maybe a 10-minute walk from home, and you got lost.
Well, I wouldn't say I got lost. I always had my wits about me. I just mistook one street for another and walked much further than I should have.
You walked like 3 blocks north of where you needed to go. Mm-hmm. You just needed to stay on your street.
Well, it was a nice day.
Now, okay, that's true. Warm out finally.
Yeah.
After last week's little cold snap, we're back to maybe spring weather, maybe summer's coming. I'm not sure. I'm hopeful.
Can't speak too soon. Summer doesn't start until what, June 20-something?
That's true. We could get snow right up until there.
Anything goes.
Well, I mean, the warm weather seems to me kind of concerning and good at the same time. Concerning because doesn't that mean more stuff will melt and the flooding in the West Island will continue? And good because if it's warm, doesn't water kind of dry up?
Well, it gets absorbed right into the clouds, and then it just rains again somewhere else.
I guess, yeah. Let's push this problem down the road.
No, you're right. I have no idea what happens to rain. There's so much water in the world, and it's got to go somewhere.
To the ocean.
But the heat, for sure, the heat just dries it out. You take a hairdryer, and you dry out a little puddle of water. That water's not going to the clouds.
Sure it is.
What, you're doing it inside your home? It's finding its way into the clouds?
No, it's going to turn into moisture, humidity in the air. But if you open your windows, it'll kind of flow out eventually.
I guess there's no getting rid of water. Right? It's always somewhere. It's always
just
lingering.
changing form.
Changing
ice, water,
properties.
steam,
Yeah.
vapor.
God. So yeah, no flooding. I don't know. Everyone's got to get flooded at some point.
The state of emergency is over. I
It's
don't
been
agree
lifted.
with you. Matthew,
What don't you agree with?
that everyone has to be flooded at some point.
Well, there's so much water that some place in the world is going to be flooded, and it can't always be the.
Can it just be the oceans?
That's true. Yeah, we just got to dig a little deeper in the oceans. Why don't we just do that?
Where would we put all the bottom of the ocean dirt?
Top of the mountains.
I'm
Can't argue.
impressed at how quickly you came up with that. That actually makes a lot of sense to me somehow.
Yeah.
But don't you think you'd get mountain fish eventually?
No, mountain fish. Like we forget a little bit of fish in the
exactly like a
dirt.
little enzyme, and then evolution. It's going to turn into some sort of weird, like a mountain creature that has a light hanging from its forehead, so it can walk in the darkness.
They become
of the snow.
birds. Imagine birds with little lights on the tops of their heads.
These are nightmares that I have yet to have.
Wow, there's always time for them.
Now, Matthew, you've had water problems in the past. When did you get flooded? What happened?
The sink, a pipe burst in the sink.
Okay, go on.
And it just
like the faucet or the drain
underneath.
Okay.
I think it just rusted away.
Okay,
and it just poured constantly for a few hours. Went to the basement of my old
okay,
home.
not the drain, but like the incoming water.
Yeah,
so it just was spewing
out.
out.
Yeah. So it was constant. There's nothing blocking it. And that just went down. I remember speaking to my mom on the phone when I was on my way home, thinking, like, what is happening? To me, it sounded like the basement was a pool now.
Okay.
Because all she said was the firemen had to come in and they put a hole in the floor.
Whoa.
So they could let the water drain. And it's like, they're letting it drain on all my stuff?
Yeah, because you had all your stuff in the basement.
It's like, yeah, but it's cement floors down there. It's not going to ruin them. And it's like, wow, it's ruining all my VHS.
Yeah.
And the newspapers and old TV guides.
God, yeah.
What a nightmare. That was a nightmare. I had to throw so many TV guides out.
Okay, so that's exactly what happened. You made it sound like, so it sounded like this was happening.
Okay, but it wasn't.
And then, that's exactly what was happening.
Except it wasn't a pool of water. It was just like a couple of inches. But also the hole in the dining room floor was probably around the size of a toonie.
Oh, that's not that big of a hole.
Yeah, he just used the back end of a fireman's axe, which is like a pickaxe.
So he just axed. He was like, "Well, this is flooding. Let me just axe through the floor so it could drain into the basement.
Yeah,
let's spread the damage."
Yeah, spread it out. This is my first day. I'm
a fireman, not a waterman. I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, I'm a waterman.
I'm a waterman.
We put fires out. We don't deal with renegade waters.
Yeah.
After all the damage and all the trouble with the insurance companies and all of my
how do you claim all those VHSs and TV guides?
The trick is you claim them at a much higher price than they're worth.
Yeah, it's true because you could claim their value, not really what someone would buy them for, but their value.
Yeah, I was very unimpressed with the insurance company. Name them here by name, Renovco.
Okay.
Won't get into it too much, but very unimpressed. They sent over some people who were supposed to check out everything, box everything up in the basement, go through what things might be worth. So they sent over 2 probably teenage girls.
Who have no appreciation for the value of the TV guide.
Exactly. There was one with Michael J. Fox on it.
Yeah.
And it said, "So long, Mike."
Yeah.
Because he was leaving Spin City.
Of course.
Priceless.
Effectively.
Anyway, they were just going through everything, taking so long to box everything up because they were just reading the backs of VHS, showing each other these weird little knickknacks, and it's like, "Hey, have you ever seen one of these?" It's like, "That was a California raisin, lady. You put that away." And I stopped laughing about it. And eventually, I just suggested, "Hey, maybe you just leave the boxes, and I'll finish up." And they're like, "Oh, would you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, because this is taking forever, and you're just going through all of my stuff."
But wait, are you just like standing there with your arms folded, watching teenage girls go through your things and make fun of them one by one?
Pretty much. I mean, I wasn't at folded arms the whole time.
They're like, "Urkelos, what kind of joke cereal is this?" And you're like, "No, that's valuable. I bought that online."
Yeah, it came folded, and I had to build it myself.
Unfold it?
Yes.
I don't even build it. It's a box.
It's true. No, but every now and then I hear them giggling, so I'd have to run down. It's like, "What's so funny? What's the joke?"
They're like, "This is a raisin action figure." You're like, "That's right.
He's wearing
What's funny?
He's wearing sunglasses.
He's super cool. Yeah. He's got sneakers and gloves. He sings.
And he's part of a set, so if you find the other guys, you put them together. You bring the band back together." So in the end, I sent them home, and I dealt with it myself. Boarded up all my own stuff. I claimed the VHS was pretty good. A couple hundred VHS. Claimed it at $2 a piece.
That's reasonable, I think.
Yeah. And I didn't even have to. And because everything was so damaged, they wanted everything. Like, normally they want all of your stuff. They're going to take it all in their building, then they'll send you back the money and they'll destroy whatever else. But I was like, well, $2, but there's certain VHS I want back. So give it back to me regardless and don't give me the $2 for them. And they were like, "Forget this. Like, just take all your boxes back. Whatever you don't want, you throw out yourself."
Yeah, you deal with this shit yourself.
And I threw out nothing.
Jokes on them. That's insurance fraud. Jokes on you.
Well, I mean, the VHS is worthless at this point. Very watery. But some of them were the clamshell cases.
Oh, and they kept a little water damage. That's not going to hit those clamshell cases.
No, not at all.
You could put those back in the Disney vault.
Yeah. And anyway, all this to say, jokes on the firemen, because they forgot their axe.
Wait, hold on. So they walk in, it's flooded. They pickaxe a hole through the floor, and then just leave the pickaxe on the floor.
They did, and it's a full axe, big yellow handle, heavy. It's in my basement now.
No water damage on the axe handle?
No, sir. It's plastic, heavy, thick plastic.
Oh, okay, not wood.
No. I don't know if they go with wood anymore. It's a relic.
Yeah, I guess a fireman shouldn't have wooden tools.
Yeah, just feeding the flame.
Oh boy, we're just building more fire here.
Plastic melts too, but it doesn't really catch on fire, I guess.
I guess it can, though.
It just makes a toxic odor.
Toxic fumes?
Toxic fumes, yeah. Well, at that point, they shouldn't use gas for their fire trucks either.
I suppose so.
Electricity would be better.
Well, the trucks aren't driving through fires, though. The firemen are going into fires with their tools. They should not be flammable tools.
Yeah,
The fire truck, it's kind of okay.
I guess.
It's not driving through a fire.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Makes sense. Oh, well, what do we? So you also had a flooding
I also
issue.
had some water issues. I was at work a couple of years ago, and my landlord called me to be like, yeah, the neighbors downstairs say something's leaking. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. I didn't leave anything running when I left home. Like I did some laundry earlier today, maybe at 2:00. Like that's weird. He's like, okay, just take some photos of it when you go home. I'm like, all right, cool. And then about a half hour later, he calls me again to be like, you need to go home now. This leaking is really serious. I'm like, oh, okay. I talked to my boss to say, hey, apparently my home is flooding. Do you mind if I leave? He was like, no, go ahead. So I hurried home, and it turned out a pipe in my apartment had burst and leaked through my floor and through the neighbor below me's ceiling, and then through their floor to the ground floor neighbor's ceiling, and damaged 2 floors worth of stuff and ceilings and floors.
This little waterfall.
Yeah. Fortunately, my place, not that much damage because it drained right through the floors.
Yeah.
There was like a maybe a 5-foot wide puddle and a crack in the floor that just drained right through. So there was, I believe the quote was approximately $25,000 worth of damage done.
25.
Almost all of it not to my stuff.
Yeah.
Which for a bit was like, oh, well, that's fine. I mean, it's awful. And I was very stressed at first because I was like, oh no, my insurance, I don't know if it's going to cover it. I don't know what's going on with the insurance. I was just really stressed. And then for a while, it seemed like my insurance wasn't going to cover it. And I was just like, well, declare bankruptcy. It's that simple. I'll go on a big vacation. They'll charge me the $25,000 and then I'll declare bankruptcy.
Okay. Why do you go on a big vacation?
Well, if I'm going to declare bankruptcy, I'll do it big, right?
Use up all the rest of your money?
Yeah.
I guess you just give someone else that money.
No. I feel like they track that down. No, use all your money, go deeper into debt. Then when they charge you the $25,000, you go, oh boy, I'm never getting out of this.
You tell them, look how
Bankruptcy!
And I guess the going on vacation would just further highlight how irresponsible you are with your money.
Right?
It's like, well, I just went on a $2,000 vacation. Obviously, I'm not good with my money.
Yeah. $2,000, don't go on a big vacation. Like really, like
Go on an
5,
Alaskan
10,
cruise.
something nuts, just like visit all the Caribbean islands.
Yep.
Each and every one of them.
And forget to leave your bathtub running that whole time too. Just be like, I'm so irresponsible.
So then declare bankruptcy. I was talking to my mom about my plan. She's like, not for $25,000. You don't declare bankruptcy for $25,000. You almost have $25,000 of credit right now. You don't need to do that. I was like, oh, okay, you have a point there. All right, maybe I don't. It just seemed like an easy solution though, declaring bankruptcy. So for any young listeners out there,
probably a short-sighted.
Yeah, all
solution.
very short-sighted. I was thinking, okay, so I won't be able to have a credit card for the next 7 years. Big deal, 7 years from now, I'll get a credit card. Big, oh, I can't, put a down payment on a house for the next 7 years. That's not happening anyway. I'm not winning the lottery. Maybe I'll start playing the lottery.
I guess that's what people do right after they declare bankruptcy. Try to win it all back.
That's so long story short, there were months and months of repairs because the repairmen hired were not super. And did everything instead of like doing one apartment at a time, they would do individual tasks in all the apartments.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, today we're replacing like floorboards. So we're going to do that in all 3 units. And that's going to be a day's worth of work. In a week from now, we're going to show up and sand the floors. But give you no notice. We're just going to show up and ring the doorbell one time and be like, okay, well, we're here moving in big sanders. Like, well, I didn't know that. I'm working at a restaurant last night. I'm tired. It's 9 a.m. I finished work at 1 a.m. Please don't do that, or at least give me notice so I could prepare myself mentally. You know how I like to be mentally prepared.
I bet the people underneath you would have liked to be mentally prepared when you.
That's true.
When
Well,
that
I mean, I didn't leave my water running. It was a pipe burst.
I guess so, but I like that it stemmed from your apartment, and you were like, come back another day.